and welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing you my scrapbook process number 3. This is using the February 4kidsat147 kit that I've popped together. I'm using a cut file today, so I got this cut file from the Hit Kit Club website. It is a free file as long as you are a member to receive information about their kits. So I've taken this cut file and blown it up and then cut it out in black cardstock. I did try white, but I found you couldn't really read the words as well. So I'm just showing you a couple here, but I'm taking a few of the different pattern papers, drawing round the outside of the speech bubbles and then cutting inside the lines so that it will fit in without leaving any pencil marks. So it just makes it a little bit easier for me. I'm using the Stampin' Up Precision glue adhesive to stick this down. It seems to be working fine for me so far, and I've not found any faults with it, so that was definitely a good buy this last week. So all of a sudden, as if by magic, the cut file's done. I haven't bothered to cover the inside words because I know I will be covering those up with my pictures. I did mess about quite a bit from here on in. The cut file does a lot of the work for you, so I found it very hard to feel as though I'd done much else, if that makes any sense. Because the cut file did so much of the work, you don't need many embellishments and things like that. So I did cut out some of the messing about. I did pull a title together saying "Together for the First Time." Thought it looked fantastic, and then realised that this wasn't the first time that the cousins were all together, as we had been over to see my nephew in Australia previously. So the title became a bit defunct and I had to rethink how I was going to work things. I still tried to bring in the together, and I liked it, but it didn't quite have the kick I was after. Then I realised that partly what it was the cut file was there and looking great, but it didn't quite fill the whole page, and it was what to do with the extra. So I trimmed down my cardstock and placed it onto a pattern paper. I instantly liked that a lot more. I still felt I needed something a little bit more to make the photos lift, but I didn't want to hide the cut file because otherwise, why did I use it? So I move about a few of my scraps, trying not to cut into any full sheets, but messing about with what I've already cut into and what's there. And when I find something that I'm happy with, I cut it. So here's my precision cutting. This is line it up and do a little bit of a mark with the trimmer and then cut it properly. But it works. It does the job. So back I come, confirming that I do like them, that I am happy, and then I can mess about a little bit more with embellishments, etc. So I realised with my paper stacking that I needed a space for the title, and putting letters on the cut file didn't really stand out enough for me. So I moved the photos, up a little bit so that you could see the black spotty paper a little bit more, and that gave my title quite a bit of a base. So I went with the title My Crew. It's not quite my crew, but it's part of it. So the first picture is me and my 4 children along with a friend's little boy, and the picture on the right is my brother-in-law with my nephew and my 4 children. This was at my nephew's christening and first birthday party. So I felt as though the papers needed a little bit of something around the edge to help them to stand out, but I didn't want to draw around the lines. I felt that was a little bit too harsh. So I got out my black chalk ink, testing it on a piece of paper first to see if I liked it, because I am that indecisive. Once I realised I did, they all got the same treatment. So here I am, just going round each one. I did try and speed this up a little bit more for you so you don't have to watch me go round everything with ink. But get all those things down and stuck down. When it came to the cut file, I used my regular adhesive. I just used it on all the places where I'd backed the cut file already, and then the couple of places in the middle where those heart shapes are cut out, and it seemed to stick fine. I've not had any problems with any of it moving. So quite quickly for me, the title went down. Normally that tends to move about for quite a bit first, and I am just trying to move my light out the way so you don't get shine off the photos. I tried to make sure that when I placed it down that the E in crew wasn't on a join so that you could see through it. And then in the whole fashion of putting things in more than one place, I had a little bit of a mess to see if I wanted something anywhere else. Had a little bit of a tidy up, and then back I come. I felt that the top left hand corner of the photo cluster was missing something. The layers, there was a couple of layers there, but it just seemed a little bit gappy to me. So I mess about with a few different bits of paper and realise that it's not extra paper that it needs, it's something else. I did like this tag up in the top corner, but I felt it was in the wrong corner, if that makes sense. So while I liked the layering and I liked the clustering of that, it wasn't on the right side of the photo. So if it's not on the right side of the photo, move it to the other side. So I lifted up the back piece of paper and scooted that one over so I could put the tag, and that frame comes from the C'est La Vie die cut pack. It is the inside of a frame which then also has some little tabs in it, and that's just the leftover cut out piece. So once I got a little bit of something in the top corner, I wanted something repeated on the bottom corner to give me that diagonal. And then I decided to use what I already had up in the top corner by just chopping the bits off that were hidden. So most of them get chopped in half. The big black tag does run quite a bit down the side of the photo, so I just chop the middle part out of that. And then I'm going to mess about layering those up, seeing if I can get them nestled in right with chopping off quite a big part. So it takes me a little bit to figure out where I can go in between the paper layers so that you can't tell that I've cut it apart, which is the main thing. So it takes me a minute to do this. I will get there. Slowly but surely they find their home, so they pretty much stay there. So I'll stick those down, which never stick the way you want them to, especially if you know you're recording. So a little bit of shuffling around of the page there to get them down. And then in come the embellishments again. So there's a few different embellishments to the left that I'm thinking may work, may not, that I've pulled out the bowls. And out come the cork hearts again. I do love these cork hearts. I will be very surprised if there are any left on the sheet by the time I finish using this kit. So even though I have them on the wax paper, I don't know what it is with my visual, but I need to see it without the wax paper. I don't know if there's any other scrappers out there like me who can't quite visualise very well. So I've pulled out 2 or 3 different sizes, messing about in different places until I work out what I'm happy with. And I think that one stays in the top corner now, just tucked underneath the photo mat. And then I bring in a couple of others in the bottom, making sure that one of those is also tucked underneath so that it works. I've then pulled out the word stickers, so I could have a little bit of something else in that top corner. There was quite a bit of white. So I found one that worked up in the top corner, and then try to find something that will work in the bottom. But the gap wasn't quite set for a word sticker. In the end, I did decide to just take it off. It just didn't need one. I was just trying to fill the gap because there was a gap there. So if in doubt and it looks okay, just leave it. You don't have to have a second one. So that's pretty much all that I do with this layout. I do come back in just to add a little bit of twine to the tag at the top, because I can't just leave that there. So that's my little yellow embellishment box, just so I could bring a little bit of that yellow paper over to the right hand side in the twine. And there we go. I'm now finally happy with that layout, and I will hold it up for you to have a look, and then here comes some close-ups. Thank you for watching.